I'm with Mark Bell, one
Hey.
of the OGs of powerlifting, someone who has benched nearly 600 pounds before, and he's gonna go over 3 of some of his favorite exercises to increase the bench press.
Obviously the bench press, when you're working on bench, squat, deadlift, a lot of times the best exercise for that exercise is more of the same.
Yes.
More bench pressing is gonna help you bench press. So what's my favorite bench accessory? It's more bench pressing and variations of the bench press. Close grip, wide grip, bench with chains, bench with bands, use different types of barbells, a fat bar, regular bar, bench pressing off of boards, all of those things. But today I'm gonna demonstrate something just a little different because I think you guys already know a lot of those principles. You've seen a lot of videos on that. I'm gonna show you guys a bunch of different dumbbell variations that I really like. One is just a dumbbell bench press. And the way that I do a dumbbell bench press is just a little bit different than what you've maybe seen before. So I'll start out by showing you that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go straight for the 150s. I was like, holy moly.
Yeah, just go right for the big dogs.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. I will say that obviously, you want to try to increase the strength of everything. When you're powerlifting, that's one of the major goals. You want to kind of power lift everything that you're doing. And so while it is good to utilize the dumbbells for hypertrophy work, for sets of 8 and sets of 10, you still want to increase and push the weight that you're actually moving. So for me, I actually got into a zone where I was able to do the 100-pound dumbbells for 50 reps on a flat bench. Yeah, 50 reps nonstop. And I also got myself in a range where I was handling some of the bigger dumbbells very consistently. And I think like the 150s, I think I did a set of 12 or 15 on like an incline bench at one point. So you do want to push your strength on those exercises. But also, you want to just really understand that a lot of times when you're doing your dumbbell work, what makes dumbbell work great is the fact that you're not going to be handling the same crazy heavy loads that you might with a barbell, and you want to apply a lot of hypertrophy training to it. So because of that, you typically are going to be in 8 to 12 rep range. The way that I do my dumbbell bench is just a little bit different than maybe some, and the only variation that I like to have, and you could do these with your feet up or down, but sometimes doing them with your feet up will increase the strength of your arms. And I'm a big believer that having really, really strong arms is critical for big time bench pressing. Obviously you need strong pecs as well, but so the way that I like to do it is I like to bench with the palms facing each other, like this. Because when we're using the barbell, we're fixed into this position, and this is the way that we have to always bench. Also, what this is going to do by having the palms face each other, this can teach us to keep the elbows in tight to the body, keep the elbows in close. That's going to help protect the shoulder. But as we come down, we still want to actually bring the dumbbells lower than where you could have a barbell go. So if we had a barbell in our hands, we would go to about here, and then we'd have to push back up. We'd be stuck like right about there, right? But because it's a dumbbell exercise, we want to get that extra stretch and let them come down a little further than what you'd normally get. It's kind of hard for me because my body's stiff.
But it's almost like doing the same thing as like what a deficit deadlift for a deadlift, you're doing kind of like deficit almost bench press.
100%. And with our feet up, we're taking that leg drive out, and we're concentrating more on the pecs, more on the shoulders, more on the triceps, and more on just increasing our just pure pressing strength rather than relying on anything else. So I like to bring them down in here, elbows are close to the body, and driving them back up. The way that I would incorporate that, I would do it twice a week. One time a week I would go for it and go kind of heavy in one main set. I'd go light, medium, and then heavy, sets of 8 or so. And then I'd have another day of the week where I did maybe 12 to 15 reps, but I did a repeated effort method, which is basically doing 3 sets of that rep range and keeping the weight the same. So you might use 100s or 80s or whatever it is that you can handle, and about 2 minutes rest in between each one. So that first one that you do, you might get a little bit of a pump from it right away, and it'll be hard to get through the next few sets. And so you're bringing up your strength one day by going heavy. The other day you're bringing up your strength by doing more volume and by condensing the amount of training that you're doing into it's like 3 tough sets rather than just one hard set. Next thing I'm gonna demonstrate here is a rolling tricep extension. This is a favorite from Westside Barbell, and Louis Simmons used to recommend doing like 6 sets of 8 to 10 reps of this exercise. Tremendous amount of work, but this exercise is really effective at just building up mass around the arm. It's really important that you just build up a big, strong tricep so you have that support network to be able to press those big weights. Again, I like to just have my feet up. That way the legs aren't involved at all. Just the arms are involved. I'm going to take the top of this dumbbell right here. Boom. Boom. And I'm going to take the top of the dumbbell and I'm going to drop it down on my shoulder like yay. I'm going to shove the elbows up in the air. The elbows don't have to necessarily be in on this exercise, but I'm going to shove them up here and then I'm going to roll forward. Rolling tricep extension. You want to make sure that you don't roll so far down that it turns into like a press.
I see.
But you're going to roll it and throw it. Roll it and throw it.
And do you feel like you get some lat engagement from it as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, you get the lats in there a ton. Let's have you do a set. You can grab whatever weight you think's appropriate.
Let's probably start down here a little more.
Start with the 5s?
Yeah. Maybe that's for Taika. Start over here. Okay. So, come down here. Do you think it's helpful to maybe grab the base of the dumbbell so you have a little more support on this end?
You can do that. I mean, whatever's comfortable for you. Okay. I'm not too picky.
All right, so I start over here.
Yep.
And what do, I bring it down here.
Oh, I think you have 2 different dumbbells. You got a 15 and a 20.
Oh,
is that unconventional training?
Is that a problem if I can't feel it? That means I'm doing too much work with my right hand.
Grab a heavier weight. Let's get serious around here. Let's grab at least the 30s. Come on.
All right.
We gotta get some weights going. Part of the beauty of a rolling tricep extension is that you get to cheat. That's what we're after. We're trying to cheat around here a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun.
Get momentum.
All right, so I have it up here. Bring my elbows up.
Yeah, you want to actually take this part here.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep.
And now shove the arm back and then throw it.
Oh, okay. So you're actually resting the dumbbell on your shoulder.
100%. Yep. And then chuck it up there.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
There we go. And so you would be able, like Bart would be able to, I know it's like his first time trying it, but like he'd probably be able to handle 50-pound dumbbells doing this.
Really? That's impressive. I can feel it. I can feel
Size
it. It's like a really nice squeeze.
Yep. And the last movement here. These exercises, by the way, all 3 of these exercises are just something, you just throw them in every bench day. Every time you bench press, just do these movements. Probably the easiest way to do it. This last one is just a front raise. But most people that lift, they end up with like either shoulder tendonitis or bicep tendonitis or just pain and discomfort in their shoulder. And a lot of it stems from the bicep area just getting really tight. And a lot of times it's way up in here because that's kind of where the bicep is connected to. And so we need to figure out ways of kind of stretching that area, ways of getting that area to open up. And I found that this is the best exercise that there is. During my, just like, I guess 30 years of powerlifting and just sort of lifting in general, my shoulders they've never failed me. They've always been good. And an exercise that I used to do a ton of, which I don't do as much anymore because I don't lift the heavy weights, but it just used to be some dumbbell front raises, just going like this. Think about how I showed you how to bench earlier.
Yeah.
And you'd bench from here to here, right?
Yeah.
Because you're bringing the weight kind of in this range.
Yeah.
This is similar. I'm shoving this weight up with my lats.
So it almost seems like every accessory that you do, you're also kind of envisioning how it's going to benefit the actual bench press. Like even with like the rolling tricep extension, you can almost feel your lats engaging, which is the same thing that you want when you're benching as well.
150,000%.
150,000%.
Yeah. Grab the 20s and
why
give
do
us
you
a
like
shot.
this compared to like a standing race?
Just because this is stretching you out, like this is stretching your shoulder and your bicep more.
Got it.
You could also do incline dumbbell curls would be really good to do too. So just go ahead and let your shoulders just relax. Yeah, you feel that kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of pressure here, right?
Make sure I keep my head back too, like my shoulders and head back.
Yeah, you want to try to keep your head back. Your head doesn't have to necessarily be on the pad, but close to it is good.
I see.
And now bend the elbows just a little bit.
Can I cross my legs like a gentleman?
That looks great. Did you shave for me?
No, I'm just Asian.
Oh. Go ahead and bend the elbows a little bit and just shove them on up. There you go. You didn't think about your lats as you're coming up.
I see.
Yeah, there you go.
I like these too.
There you go.
Yeah, this feels great.
So there's 3 exercises that you can do. As I said, like just add them into each bench session that you do. There's one more component, or 2 more components to this whole thing. And Bart brought up a really good example of it in saying, like, are you thinking about the main movement while you're doing your accessory movements? I'll show you how to do that in a second, but the other thing too is just to not be a pussy, you know? Fucking go after this shit with everything that you got, you know? Like, really, how committed are you? Like, you claim that you want to lift more weight. You're saying to yourself, hey, I want to bench more weight. You already, at some point, you have that conversation with yourself. So when you, the whole thing, the whole process of you grabbing the weight and you sitting down on the bench, like, do it with a fucking purpose. Like, look like you're going to lift weight, you know? Fucking go over here. You get yourself fired up, have a partner with you, have someone crank some music, like, get after it. Get down in here and really think about it for a second, you know? And think, I want to be a power lifter. I want to lift heavy ass weight. And the way you're going to lift heavy ass weight is to throw weight around. So I know it's only 60 pounds, but you know, you want to really just put a lot of force into it. The more effort that you put into it, the more that you'll get out of it. So you really want to, that's the biggest thing. That was the thing that helped me go from just being like a regular lifter into being like someone that people would take seriously as a power lifter. It was just my own mindset.
Yeah.
Like, go after it with, like, you know, if you're hitting a heavy bag, you can hit the heavy bag, or you can try to fucking destroy the heavy bag.
Yeah.
Let me show you one more thing. Do a tricep push down. A very simple exercise. Big movement. A lot of people like to do this movement. And you know, with the tricep push down, one of the advantages is you get to use some pretty good weight on it, right? So again, you know, have a good strong mindset. Now, ideally you want to do stuff with good form, but like, there's a time to just have at it. I don't want to see anybody get injured, anybody get hurt, but there's a time to really go for it. And what I want you to think about when you're doing this exercises, when you're doing exercises like this, think about the failures that you've had in the gym. Think about the last time you mentioned you benched, what, 390?
391.
391.
That one's important.
He wants to bench over 400 pounds. Well, when he's training, when you're training, think about this shit.
Yeah.
When you're doing it, thinking about, like, I'm gonna be a 400 plus pound bencher. Like, I'm gonna do it or I'm gonna fucking die. And so put everything you have into it. When you're doing these exercises, think about the last time I tried that heavy weight, I tore my pec, that shit ain't happening to me again. Or the last powerlifting meet I did, I finished dead last. Like, I'm not allowing that shit to ever happen again. So when you get in there, that's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about getting better on the actual exercise that you're doing. Like, really close your eyes, hone in and focus on it. Who gives a fuck how many reps you do? Who gives a fuck how many sets you do? None of it matters. All that matters is the overall effort that you put into it and what you're going to commit your mind to. Are you going to commit your mind to doing whatever it takes to be better? Or are you going to be a pussy and be the same piece of shit you were the day before, the day before, and the day before that? Commit yourself to it. Go all the way in. You'll be shocked at what you can do.
Thank you so much. That was more than just your 3 favorite exercises, but also some really good life advice of how to get after the things you want. And I think in powerlifting, that's really just it. Like, do you want to lift 5 more pounds than you did yesterday? If you do, then you got to put in that extra 5 pounds of effort.
Next time, I'll show you guys how to bench press with a boner. Don't forget to bring your sweatpants.
I will. See you guys next time. Bye.